thrives on the concept of less is more. Giving monsters little screen time means our imagination fills the terrifying blanks. But sometimes we see exactly what sort of monstrosities are lurking in the dark and are offered no accompanying detail to actually understand what the hell we're dealing with. So, with that being said, I'm Jem from WhatCulture.com, and here are 8 of the weirdest horror entities that can't be explained. Number 8. Dr. Friedkin's creations in Grave Encounters. Grave Encounters has dished out 2 entries into its canon that never really go anyways to answering the questions of what really goes on within the paranormal hospital where most of the story takes place. Seeing 2 groups of intrepid explorers dive headfirst into an allegedly haunted psychiatric building, each one faces the horrors of Dr. William Friedkin and his diabolical undead staff from beyond the grave, until they're driven to insanity, murder, or to accepting his cure to the wretched condition of being alive. A lobotomy. We're offered an insight into how the haunting came to be, naturally, as Friedkin's apparent satanic indulgences and black magic practices brought about a state of purgatory that any who enter the facility find themselves stuck in. And while satanic worship and black magic are evil and all, that goes absolutely nowhere in telling us how these patients and nurses exist, nor what they truly are. Are they ghosts, demons, or something in between? Do they have supernatural powers, or is it the building that's cursed as it shifts and changes like a labyrinth? What is the creature in the sequel that's nowhere near the human horrors we'd previously witnessed? Was it created? Did it come from hell? It's left up to us to draw the lines on this one, as terrifying as the dots we're given are. Number 7. Dampton Worm in the Lair of the White Worm. There's not much in this movie that can be explained properly, to be honest. A mess of religious imagery meets Hugh Grant and Peter Capaldi roaming around the British countryside. The Lair of the White Worm is one of those 80s guilty pleasure horror movies that's as bonkers as you can get for a cult movie. Seeing a giant legendary creature known as the Dampton Worm secretly residing in a cave system, the big pasty beastie is as much a mystery as it is a brilliant piece of movie history. A little bit of dragon, a worm in the old sense of the word, quite a lot of snake, a god with its own slithery priestess, and surviving on sacrificial victims to its scaly almightiness. There's a lot going on with this monster, with very little going in way of a full explanation. And while perhaps it could be explained in a way our mere mortal minds could comprehend in any other setting, that it comes wrapped up in the form of the Lair of the White Worm means the Dampton Worm is destined to be impenetrable forever. Number 6. The Alien in The Thing. Anyone who says they can explain The Thing is a stone-cold liar. Not even the filmmakers really know or agree what is done or who it's infected by the end of the movie, so you can theorise all you like, but firm truth ain't coming anytime soon. Whilst the way the titular monster assimilates its victims does get dipped into and its out-of-this-world origin is agreed upon, we still don't really know this thing in any real sense, and its truth doesn't seem like something comprehensible to human minds as it is. Hell, it's called The Thing even now, which is evidence enough we have no grasp on what it even is. It's the same as calling Pennywise It, and while he gets a far fairer whack at an explanation across his source material and subsequent movies, The Thing is afforded no such tomfoolery. We don't know of its consciousness, we do not know whereabouts in space it came from, and we can barely tell at the best of times who it's taken over, making for an impossible to explain monstrosity that's eluded definition for decades. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and while you're there, drop us a like, share and subscribe too. Number 5. The Creature in the Tunnel. Found footage movies are the holy grail of unexplained monsters, offering up a lethal creature that hunts its protagonist down with little in the way of discussing motives in nearly every entry to the subgenre. It's part and parcel of the whole deal, really, as found footage is all about the ill-fated experiences of a group that almost always don't make it out alive. The footage has to be found somehow, after all. The tunnel gives the whole conceit a fair whack with a monster that's never captured fully within the shaky cam framing, the most we can witness being an eerie shadow or a reflective eye here and there. As it hunts down our team of researchers stuck in the labyrinth underground tunnels of Sydney, their goal is first to find out what's going on, and then, when that fails, in suitably dramatic and bloody fashion, simply to get out alive. Whilst our crew do rather unusually keep their lives, they come no closer to knowing what exactly the murderous force killing off the homeless population in Australia really is, and we're left with no crumbs to stitch together this mystery loaf either. resulting in a terrifying, eerie entity with literally no defining characteristics other than murder. Number 4. Lovecraftian deity in the endless. Beautifully strange, wonderfully enigmatic, and tapping into cosmic horror heights that would make Lovecraft shed a tear. The Endless is the sci-fi dreamscape of Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson that sees two brothers return to an old commune they once grew up in and eventually ran away from. Justin believed the commune to be a death cult, and Aaron has nothing but fond memories of the place. When they receive a tape showing everyone to be alive and well, Aaron longs to return to the home he felt happiest, but things aren't what they seem. Strange events such as multiple moons rising, a massive unseeable creature looming at the bottom of the lake that Justin swims in, and pictures appearing out of nowhere to suggest something sinister. The brothers find out the members of the commune, who actually are a death cult, are trapped in a time loop, as are so many other camps surrounding them, endlessly dying over and over again in ritualistic entertainment for an enormous, invisible, otherworldly being that controls their reality within certain domes. Remaining too long in its clutches within one such dome means you belong to it as well. And that's that. That's all we learn about whatever the hell this is. Number 3. Extraterrestrial visitors in Gantz O. Now, this movie isn't necessarily your typical horror movie fare in the traditional sense, but it absolutely ties into the big monster beat-em-up subgenre that birthed the likes of Godzilla, King Kong, and all of their lovely B-movie babies that came in the wake of humans versus giant monster fiction. One look at the horrific monsters and bloody battling will have you convinced on its suitability to a list like this. Seeing a group of people who have died and been reborn under a strange technology which forces them to fight monsters for the chance to freely return to normal life once more, narrative is not necessarily the point. It instead celebrates a big wobbly CGI and the strangest monsters known to man in incredible detail, but gives nothing away as to the latter's creation. Yes, Gantz is based on a manga, but even that doesn't seem to give much more away than that they're aliens from a dying star system. Why do they take on warped human forms? Why do they attack? How do they appear? Seeing a giant mass of bodies comprised into one giant humanoid monster is impressive, sure, but becomes all the more scary when there's no motive or logic to be grasped in the face of such bizarre lethality. Number 2. A stomach in the Borderlands. The Borderlands, for the most part, sets itself up as a found footage movie about a paranormal investigation, suggesting demonic entities, ghosts, or other such good old-fashioned Christian iconography as the cause of bother at a local church. A team from the Vatican is sent to smooth things out with the local residents, but upon conducting their research, discover an ancient pagan deity to be the cause of the supernatural happenings. Not good. The church in question was built upon an old temple, and the old minister turned to worshipping the unnamed deity away from his expected religion. At the end of the film, the men in the church head down a hidden staircase that eventually transforms into a stomach and digests them. That's it. That is the end. Were they consumed by a church that's actually a flesh and blood organic being? Are they sacrifices to the ancient being as so many were before them? Is it hallucination? How was the footage found if it's in this strange demonic stomach? We will never know the truth of this vastly underrated, underseen movie, and nor is it probably possible to truly explain a creature like that. A god, a monster, or something in between, it's got a big old appetite, and that is all we can be sure of. And number 1, the colour in Colour Out of Space. Considering Lovecraft is the king of unknowable entities from beyond the pale, it should come as no surprise that there's another entry dabbling with cosmic horror in all of its terrifying, spectacular weirdness. And of course, it features the man who cannot be explained in any fathomable sense himself as well, Nicolas Cage. Colour Out of Space is a journey through one family's world being transformed as a meteor crashes on their farm, unleashing a colour that slowly terraforms everything around it into both beautiful, bright flora and twisted, traumatizing masses of flesh. The colour is so far from our own reality, it physically and mentally changes any that come into contact with it. Try explaining that one. The only glimpse we get that's anywhere near the truth is of a tentacled alien amidst a horrible world full of things, but that goes no way as to telling us what's really going on. With monsters that will truly repulse you, a palette that will burn your eyes, and a sick sense of humour throughout, Colour Out of Space absolutely earns the right to be terrifying without giving any insight into its central mystery.